guys, I'm back. This week we're going to do the powder contour video. Last week I did the cream contour video and I had some questions from clients as to whether they should use cream or powder and when to use the different ones. And I would say it's a personal preference thing. With the cream contour, I myself like to use that because I feel I have a little bit more control, and I like to use a beauty blender. I feel like it's a little bit better blending with the beauty blender, whereas with the powder I use a brush. And from day to day I don't do a lot of contour on myself personally. I like to just use a bronzer and kind of contour with the bronzer, which you can very well do yourself if you want to use that product. There are a couple different products that I'll show you today that I have. With clients, it just depends on how much time I have to work with as to whether I will use powder or contour. The cream contour I feel is a little bit more time intensive, I guess I should say, whereas the powder contour I can really do a quick application. And there's something about the contour that I like. It just seems like it gets a better blend into the face and maybe a little bit more dramatic, or can be a little bit more dramatic if used with cream contour. But that aside, we're going to do powder today, and I'll show you the palette that I have. This one is the It Cosmetics My Sculpted Face. This one's really nice. It has quite a few colors in it. It has these highlighting shades up here and then 4 of these contour darker bronzing shades. And if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a big palette like that, you can always get something like this, which I showed last week's video, which is basically a highlight in contour color, which this is actually a bronzer and this is a highlighter. Now, I do like these, but I will say that I'm not a big fan of the brown color. It doesn't look great on my skin, so I just tend to use bronzers or this It Cosmetics palette on myself and the clients. So I will just jump right into it right now. I want to show you this little insert that came with the It Cosmetics, because this is really nice. Sometimes, and most times I think when you buy palettes, they come with a little insert that'll show you the basic places to contour and highlight. I use a couple different types of brushes. It just depends on what you're going for. And this brush right here is really nice if you want a deep contour and you really want to chisel out those cheekbones or the nose area. I also have an angled brush, which is really nice. I tend to use this a lot because of just it fits into the cheekbone area and it looks a little bit more natural with this. And highlighting, I tend to use this one. I like the little dome to the top. It's really fluffy, so I can just kind of lightly place highlight. Basically what highlighting is it is where the sun or light would naturally hit on your face, whereas contour is the darkness in the places that are shadowed when the light hits your face, if that makes sense. And I use these 2 little brushes if I want to contour the nose area, which I don't do on myself, but if clients want that, I will use these. I just kind of run it down the nose, down here, and then just blend it out, which I will show you today, which I do not do on myself, as I said. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the color right here, and if it doesn't show up on the camera, I'm gonna go a little bit darker. That way you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna go ahead and just pick out this brush and place some product on my brush. It's picking up. And I'm gonna go to and suck in my cheek right here, and you'll feel the bone, and just run it down. And it's not picking up. I'm gonna go the next darker shades just so you can see. I want to be able for you guys to notice what's coming up on the camera here. Okay, it's not coming up. Let's try it again. And I'm just gonna run it just to about here. It's going to depend on everybody's faces how far you want to take it in. I like to start with a little bit and then build it up, because once you go too much, it's hard to go back because of the intensity of the dark color. So I'm going to go back and put a little bit more on my brush. And then I like to go down here on the jawline and darken that. Now I don't do it too dark because you don't want to see a line of demarcation. You just want to kind of chisel it out, make it a little bit of a shadow. And by shadow, I don't mean you should just have like a dark line there. Just the powder's going to do the work for you. I'm going to go on this side. And for fun, actually, I did the IT Cosmetics on this side. I'll go ahead and use this and see if you can see a difference. This is just, like I said, the bronzer and the highlighter, the darker bronzer. As you can see, it's quite a bit darker, and I don't like this one. That's why I tend to use this one a little bit more. But it's nice for days, especially in the summer when I'm tanner, to use that. I'm gonna go ahead and blend that out a little bit since it's pretty dark. Okay. Go back on this side with the IT Cosmetics, and around the hairline, I will darken it up, kind of pushing into the hairline, and I kind of bring it all the way around. The different face shapes that the clients have will determine where the placement is with the contour. I talked about that last week in the cream contour video. Okay, I'm going to go on this side with the darker color. And that palette is called the Lorac Tantalizer Highlighter and Matte Bronzer Duo. And the same thing, just going around the edges of my face. And I don't know if you can tell a big difference, but this side, especially where the cheekbone is, it's quite a bit darker and more defined, and I can go back and fix that, which is nice with powder. You can just take a setting powder or pressed powder and kind of blend it out so it doesn't look as deep or as dramatic. And for fun, we'll go ahead and do the nose. I'll do the left side. And I just go down the bridge of my nose, down the side here. And the reason people would contour their nose is basically to thin out their nose. Now, I love my nose. That may be a vain thing to say, but I've always liked the shape of it. Knock on wood, I haven't ever broken it or anything like that. I don't feel I need to thin it out. I kind of like the way that it is already. But I did use this, and I ran it down where the shadow would go, and then I take a little fluffy brush and kind of just blend it so you can't see it. Kind of worried about using this one on the other side of the nose. I've never done that. We'll see how it turns out. Take a very little. Run it down the nose. And you want to be very, very light with this, as it's a dark color. I don't do a lot of contouring of the nose unless the client specifically asks for it. Okay, so this, one more thing is I usually take it down over here to enhance the tip of the nose. So you just kind of pull it in right here. Make sure to blend again. Okay. Go back and do just a little bit more. Just to show you also, this little brush is pretty neat. I'm going to use this and show you. Hopefully it'll show up a little bit, and it will make quite a big difference. If you really want to chisel out that cheekbone. I like my cheekbones, so I don't usually use this little brush, but I kind of got lured into the whole look of it and thought it would be kind of a nice brush to have in my kit in case I ever did need it. And I've used it a couple times, so you can see it really chiseled out. I'm going to go back through and blend that. Okay, now to highlighting. I'm going to, there's two colors in here, and I do not like those for my skin tone. Those are nice. One's a shimmer and one is a matte. I don't like those colors though. So I'm going to use a color in here. I'm gonna use this one. I think I showed you that earlier. But it's nice. It's more of a nude gold shimmer. And I'm gonna take my nice little domed brush here. This is a Real Techniques 300. I think it's the Real Metals collection. I'll link it below. I'm just going to take some on the top of my brush here. I'm going to run it down my nose. There. And already I can see the lighting, because I have great lighting in here right now, but you can see there's a highlighted area. That's where you would want to put highlight, because the light is naturally hitting that part of my skin right now. This might show up better. Put some of this one on there. There we go. And I like to do just a little bit, as you can tell in the light. I've got a million lights back here. It's going to shine a little bit more than the natural light, but that's where I would place it. And I like to drag it up a little bit here onto the eyebrow bone and kind of connect it in a V form, and then bring it up a little bit here too. So V to the eyebrow and then a little bit over it. I'm gonna do the same to this side. A little bit goes a long way. You don't want to look plastic. And generally I don't put this much on. I did end up grabbing this white color so it could show up in the video and you could see where I was putting it. And again, bringing it up around the brow bone. I'm gonna go back and do this. There we go. And I just lightly do it on the forehead up here. This color isn't my best friend. As you can tell, it's kind of shiny. I'll go back through and put some powder on it to make it not so shiny and bright. But for the purposes of the video, I wanted to show you. I wanted it to show up in the video nicely so you can see where it was going. And just some on the chin there. And if you can take your little brush, if you can get the contour, make sure you get the contour off. And do the Cupid's bow, which is this little area on the lip. And highlight that area there. Like so. Wow, that is really shiny on this video. Okay, and it doesn't look like that out here, but it does on the video. I'm going to now take some blush. Since I'm already doing the video, I'm going to do some blush because I haven't done that in a video yet. I have this beautiful Gwen Stefani palette that she has, and it actually has the Magics in the Makeup little sticker there, which is the name of my company, which I think is really cool. This is why I had to get it. But I'm just going to take, I think I will do the cherry here. I'm going to take a nice little, just fluffy blush brush and take a little bit at a time, because blush, once you get it on there, you can't get it off. So I'm just going to dab a little bit in there, the product here, and very lightly put it on my cheeks. In little circular motions. I'm glowing over here. I've got so much highlight on. And the other side, take a little bit more. I'm a big bronzer fan, and I tend to do a lot of bronzer as opposed to blush. For my skin tone, I just feel it looks a little bit more natural and glowy, but I wanted to show you the blush too. Showing up a little bit. Take a little bit of this other one to see if it does. There we go. Getting on there. Okay. And last video I added in a picture of the placement of where contour, highlight, and blush goes, and I'll try to link that back into this or put it in the video somewhere. That way you can check it out again if you need to see where it goes, the blush. I'm going to go back through. My blush is on heavily. I'm going to go back through with a powder, and this is Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. This is a matte product, and I have medium dark. I keep these. These are a staple in my makeup bag. They're just a really light powder, good for blending things out, and it's not heavy at all. It just makes the skin look really nice and fresh. I'm using a big powder brush, and I'm just gonna kind of blend everything out. Do a light blend so everything kind of goes together real nicely. And just go around. And where there is dark contour, you just want to do an extra little blending here with the big fluffy brush. I like these because it kind of, there's something with the way that they're shaped and the fullness of it that really do a good job of blending everything nicely. And go down back through here where you had the contour and make sure that's blended out. And you can see how dark it is here. This was that darker color that I said that wasn't my favorite to use, but you can definitely see it on the camera here. Looking at myself now, you can't tell it's that dark. This side does look more natural, and I do like this side better, which is why I tend to use the IT Cosmetics palette for myself. I don't wear loads and loads of makeup on a day-to-day basis. When I work, I have a full face on, but from day to day, I don't do a lot of contour and highlighting. This is my favorite product to use. I use the Hoola bronzer and use that as contour. I feel I can do just a quick over the face, you know, in the hollows of my cheeks, around my face, and then kind of blend it out, and it just looks like a healthy glow. And I can show that in another video of maybe just a full face makeup tutorial or something like that. So that is the powder, highlight, and contour tutorial today. And again, I used the IT Cosmetics My Sculpted Face palette and the Lorac Tantalizer on the other side of my face, and the Gwen Stefani Urban Decay blush palette for the cheeks. If you have any questions about that or want to see anything more specific, or in particular if you have something that you have questions about, leave them in the drop down box below and I will be sure to get back to you. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.